Hey guys, just as I was about to release a video on MLP Draft Play, Amigo, the German publisher of the game, has updated their rules for MLP Draft. The original rules were used during a few small tournaments in Germany, and I have heard people refer to them as the German draft rules. Okay, before we get into the modified rules, let me first describe how to draft. The players are seated randomly at the table, and each player gets 3 booster packs. After opening the first pack, sort out all the problem cards, because you'll need those later. Then pick a card and pass the rest of the booster to your left. Pick another card from the pack you received from the player to your right, and continue until all the cards are drafted. Do the same with the second and third boosters. The second one is passed to your right, and the third to your left again. When the third pack is all gone, take all the problem cards from your boosters, pick one and pass the rest to the right. After those are all drafted, it's time for deck building. You will have about 20 minutes to build your deck from the cards you've drafted. Your draw deck must have a minimum of 20 cards. Your problem deck must contain exactly 5 cards. There is no limit for the number of copies of each card. If you don't have a starting problem, a random one will be selected. As for your main character, you can either use your own or use a proxy or a piece of paper. Just be sure to indicate if they are boosted or not. The format that is played is best 2 out of 3, and there is a time limit of 45 minutes on the match. The games end when a player reaches 8 points instead of the regular 15. You will have to write down the positive or negative difference in your match points, because they will be used as a second tiebreaker. The maximum number of points for this is 8. If the winner of a match has 0 or less points, their difference will be set to +1. Respectively, the loser gets -1 if they have 0 points or more. Let me give you an example. Mark and Lisa are playing, with Lisa winning the match. Lisa wins the first game with 8 points to Mark's 2. Mark then wins the second game with a 4-point lead. Lisa then wins the match with a game score of 8-5. From Lisa's perspective, she gains 6 match points for the first game, loses 4 for the second, and gains another 3 for the last. That means she gains 5 match points in total. If a player gives up, it is considered a victory for the other player with a score of 8-0. The loser of a game can decide if he wants to be the first player or not, but only before looking at their cards. You are allowed to modify your deck with the cards you didn't use between matches, but not individual games. Where timeouts are concerned, if it is still the second game being played, the winner of the first game wins the match. If there is a tie in game 3, the first player to score a point wins. There are a few draft-specific rules that make it a bit easier to deal with the randomness of the boosters and the power requirements of some cards. The first friend in each turn has their requirement reduced by 2. An example would be Hoity Toity, who requires 2 white. If you play him as your first friend, the requirement will be reduced by 2, so he'll have no more power requirement. Since you don't always get the colors you want, the conditions of problems with 2 colors are changed as well. Problem cards that require, for example, 2 purple and 2 yellow would then require either 2 purple and 2 not purple, or 2 yellow and 2 not yellow. So that's basically it with the German draft rules. I hope my description was clear enough and you have fun experimenting with them.